What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dapper here. Today we're going to be talking about a Trove video, and we're going to be talking about Gardening 2.0. Today is July 4th, 2019, so if any other updates have come out since then, some of these things may be changed, but for right now, we're going to get right into it. What we're going to be talking about is composting. We're going to talk about compost heaps. We're going to talk about allies and mounts, the different plants you should be focusing on, the food, cornerstone planting, watering pro tips, some badges and best practices, and other pro tips. So we got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to go through as much of it as best I can, but everything is going to be educational in here, okay? So without further ado, let's get into it. So there are 4 new benches that you get in Gardening 2.0. You got the compost, you got the gardening bench, you got your vegetable sink, and you also got your harvesting station. You can craft all these in the gardening bench, which is what you originally had before. The first thing we're going to talk about is composting. So you go to the compost station, and you can compost almost any item you have. There's 3 different qualities of compost. There's the organic refuse, which is the normal one. You get it from any common item. What I recommend using for this is the eyes. There's also quality organic refuse, which you get from composting vegetables, and also the blossoming dragon egg fragments. And the last but not least, you get the superior organic refuse, which you get from harvesting the rare allies, and also you get from harvesting radiant plants. And we'll talk about that later in the video. So that's what you're going to want to do. Your first step is going to be composting. Next step you're going to do is go to the harvesting station and go to the compost tab. In this tab, you can see that you got 3 different types of compost heaps that you can create. You got the regular compost, the quality compost, and the superior compost heap. So we're going to talk about the regular compost heap here for a second. So these compost heaps have a chance to drop concentrated compost, is what you need to make your seeds to get into the gardening update. So we'll craft about 10 of these real quick. As you can see, once you craft these, start opening them, and you get these nice concentrated compost right here. That's what you're going to want to get to create the seeds. So we're going to talk about these composts and what they can drop real quick, okay? So in these normal composts here, they can drop, commonly they drop 1 concentrated compost. In the uncommon section, they drop 3 concentrated composts, common recipes, and then they rarely drop 20 concentrated compost, uncommon recipes, and 1 golden pitcher seed. They also happen to drop these gardening style stashes. You only need about 10 to 15 of these, but they do drop them. The next one we're going to talk about is the quality compost. As you can see, you need the quality organic refuse to create these, so you need to go to the compost bin, compost your vegetables or your blossom egg dragon fragments, and then you can be able to create these. These commonly drop 3 concentrated compost and Moonlight tempers. They uncommonly drop 12 concentrated compost, 3 Moonlight tempers, and other unique or other uncommon recipes. And they rarely drop 25 concentrated compost, 15 Moonlight temper, rare recipes, and 2 golden pitcher plant seeds. They also drop the style stashes as well. So the last one we're going to talk about are these superior compost heaps. As you can see, you need the superior refuse, the quality refuse, and the regular organic refuse. So these are the hardest to get. And like I said, you get the superior refuse from harvesting the radiant plants or sacrificing the rare allies you get from those habitats. These commonly drop 10 concentrated compost and 1 cookie musk. They uncommonly drop 60 concentrated compost, 2 cookie musk, and other rare recipes. And then they rarely drop 5 to 100 bobble pod seeds. So you can get up to 100 bobble pod seeds as a rare drop from these. That's pretty good. So we're going to talk about Moonlight tempers, cookie musk, and the bobble pods here in just a little bit in the video, if you're wondering what those are. So the next thing we're going to go over are the ally habitats. So there's 4 different ally habitats you can get. There's the glow bug, the drone, the snail, and the fairy. These have 2 allies that can spawn inside the habitat. So what you do is you create these and you drop them in a club world, and they have a chance to spawn an ally. If the ally does spawn, anyone in the game that's 300 gardening can come and get these allies. But like I said, they have 2 different allies that can spawn in each one of these habitats. The habitats last about 14 days and it's only a chance, so this is going to be like the hardest part about getting your mastery for this. As you can see, it costs Cookie Musk to create each one of these allies habitats. And Cookie Musk you can only get from that superior compost heap. So if you think about it, you want to get your radiant plants, get the superior compost heap so you can get Cookie Musk to make these. But what I recommend is let the clubs handle this. Let the leaders in the clubs put these down, wait for them to spawn, and then go get those allies when they do spawn. I have a Discord that will let you know whenever these allies do spawn, and I'll cover that later in the video. It'll be about at the end of the video. I'll give you a link to the Discord in the description. You can go there. We'll tag you if one of the allies is spawned, and we'll let you know what club it's in. That's going to be for the PS4 North American server, by the way. The next thing we're going to talk about are the mounts. So this is what, there's 2 new mounts right here. You got the Squeakster, and you also got Lloyd the Laird. The Squeakster costs 115 corn of the cube, 3 Cookie Musk, Steed Feed, and Build Right. So this is where you should be saving your Cookie Musk and actually using in the beginning are these mounts, and let the clubs handle the allies. The next one is Lloyd the Laird. It costs 100 Bun Feed, 10 Cookie Musk, and some blocks, Steed Feed, and Wildflowers. So all the rest of that's pretty easy to get. So total you need about 13 Cookie Musk to get that done. And then you can start focusing on the ally habitats and helping out the clubs if you want after that. The next thing we're going to focus on and talk about are the different plants you want to focus. I'm going to be only talking about gardening 2.0 plants, so if you want to know about, you know, any of these turf seeds, fey floaters, you know, anything else besides the gardening 2.0, I'm sure there's other videos about it out there, but what we're going to be talking about are the new ones that came out. So if you go to the gardener section in the gardening bench, you can see where you can craft your new benches, but also you can see where you're going to be crafting your new seeds. So there's 2 different types of seeds, and we're going to go over the 2 different types of seeds before we go any further in the video. The 2 different types are the one-time harvesting seeds and the multiple harvesting seeds. What that means is the one-time harvesting seeds you plant, the plant grows, you harvest it one time, and that's it. The multiple harvest seeds, what that means is you plant, you water them, they grow, you harvest them, and then you can re-water them, and then they'll grow. You can harvest and re-water again until they wither. What that means is they wither, they all have different withering times. But the point of the multi-harvesting seeds is you can get more bang for your buck. Alright, so we're going to go over the one-time harvestings first. In the gardener section, you got the unicorn chard seed. You can only harvest this one time. So when you plant this, you only get that one harvest. In the green thumb, you got the onionito seed. So when you plant this, you can only harvest it one time as well. In the botanist, you got the Totter Tate seed. Plant this, you can only harvest it one time. And in the horticulturalist, you got the bun feed seed. You can only plant and harvest one time. So these one-time harvest seeds actually feed into each other. As you can see in this bun feed seed, it costs Totter Tates to make, right? And in the Totter Tate, it costs onionitos to make. And in the onionitos, it costs the unicorn chard to make. So if you want to go down this line, you're only going to get your one-time harvest. And in my opinion, it's not really worth it. Mainly because you need 15k harvesting for the harvesting badge and 25k watering for the watering badge. And this will make it really hard for you to get all that done. Next thing we're going to talk about is the multiple harvesting, right? So there's plenty of these that there are. We're going to be only talking about the ones you get from the default. You can unlock all these other ones here on the right from getting the recipes, but I wouldn't focus on those for leveling up your characters or even harvesting, because they're typically more expensive and they're also a little harder to get, and they also have longer harvesting times. In my opinion, they're not worth growing unless you just need like gleamstone or eyes or something. I wouldn't focus on these. Alright, so the ones you want to focus on are, there's cubage here. This is going to be the main one that I'm going to recommend you later in the video in the pro tips section. There's the UGG plants. You got the purplils in the green thumb. In the my bad, in the botanist section, you got the cumatos, and you got the cinnamelons. And in the horticulturalist, you got the corn on the cube seeds. These, as you can tell, also feed into each other. So to make corn on the cube, you need cumatos and cinnamelon. To make the cumatos and cinnamelon, you need eggplants and purplils. And to get the purplils and eggplants, you need cubage. So as you can see, you do the cubage first, you make the other things. So one goes into the other, goes into the other, goes into the other. That's just the best way to explain it. But I'll tell you a way to kind of get around that later in the video. Alright, so to get superior organic refuse, what I recommend you do, once you're at the end and you got all of your recipes unlocked, you'll unlock this evolving alchemy plant seed. What it does is it randomly makes a alchemy plant, and these is what you can harvest for the superior refuse to get that cookie musk, okay? As you can see, it costs Moonlight tippers, which you get from the superior and also the uncommon one, which is called quality compost refuse. That's where the Moonlight tippers drop. But if you're looking for Moonlight bulbs, you're gonna have to search for these throughout the entire Trove adventures. So what I recommend doing is going to like U8 topside and running around and looking for these bulbs. The side caveat about these bulbs, if you log out for an hour, they delete from your inventory. So only farm enough bulbs that you have for Moonlight tippers to plant for that day. Once you craft the seed, it doesn't matter, the seed won't go away. Alright, so we talked about that for a little bit. Now let's talk about some of the food. So food is another thing if we go to our character sheet. As you can see right here, you can't see because of my face probably. We're gonna move my face with no camera. So right here, you got the food section. This is a new thing that you can add to your Trovian to give them a boosted stats. So if you're wondering what this is for, I'm about to explain it. So if you go over here to the vegetable sink, each one of those vegetables that I described earlier that you should be focusing on can be washed and used as food. So when you wash it, you get different stats and stuff from it. We're going to go over what kind of stats you can get from this briefly, just so you guys kind of know what you should focus on. So the unicorn shard, when you wash it, it gives you 250 physical damage. This is actually what you're going to want to use for speed runs if you're a tank. So this is the food you're looking for you tanks from the speed runs. The next is the cumatos. You get 2 jumps from these. Next is corn on the cube. You get 10% attack speed. Some people say you can use this for the speed runs, but I prefer using the cubage, and you'll see why in a minute. The next one is cinnamelon, which gives you +5 maximum energy. And then we got the wash cubage, which I was talking about earlier, which gives you 250 magic damage. That's going to make you do more damage and help you out for those speed runs. Next we got bun feed, which is 0.5% critical hit. Not 5%, 0.5%. So not that good in my opinion. You got the purplils, which give you 20 cooldown reduction, which is good. You got the onionitos that give you 1 experience gain. I don't know how effective this is for leveling up because all my characters are maxed, but I'm sure it helps somewhat. And then you got the tottered tates for the superstition. This is a useless stat. I don't know why they added it, but it was from Halloween back years ago where you can see ghosts if you had superstition. Alright, so those are the foods. So now we're going to talk about planting and what you can do with planting. So in a club world, if you have the permission, you can plant up to, I think, 500 to 750 plants in that club world. In my opinion, that's very inefficient because everyone has to say or share this. So what we're going to show you how to do is do Cornerstone Planting. So I'm just going to go to a novice world and create my cornerstone really quick. So let me. So for Cornerstone Planting, what I recommend you do is this. So if you have the tractor that waters, I recommend you doing this in a 10 by 10 manner. You want 10 wide, 10 across. What this does is, if you have Instagrowers radius are 10 by 10. So if you stand in the very middle, you'll be able to instantly grow all of these so you can start watering them. If you don't have the tractor, what I recommend you doing is 9 by 9. The reason being is because you have to use watering cans, and in the watering cans, they cost multiple things to use. They cost 10 water, 10 lava, 10 plasma, and 10 chocolate, and also 20 bottles to create one. And what those do are they have a 3 by 3 radius, so if you stand in the middle here, it would get all 3 of these, pretty much all 9 of these around you. If it's 9 by 9 here, then you'll be able to use 3 cans to get all the way across. If it was 10 by 10, you would have to use 4 cans, and the 4th can would only water one of these plants, so it's kind of ineffective. But if you have the tractors that water, I would do 10 by 10 for the Instagrowers. Alright. Also, as you can see, we have multiple layers of plants. Plants need direct sunlight, so you want to make these floors made out of glass. If they're not glass, the plants will not grow under them, okay? So make sure that you make these floors out of grass. Alright? Now, what I like to do is you can have anywhere between 2 blocks and 4 blocks between each floor. I do 4 blocks because, I mean, let's be real. Unless you're doing like 10,000 plants, you don't need to have 2 blocks in between. So I did 4 blocks to give me a little more space. Make it a little better and easier for me. Now we're going to talk about some more pro watering tips. So as you can see, all these different ones have just one stack right here. But as you can see in this section here, we got some that are stacked right on top of each other, just like this. Now, the reason why I have these set up like this is because Corn on the Cube is, as you can see, is like the hardest stuff to get, and it has multiple harvests, right? So the other thing in the horticulturalist is the bun feed, but the bun feed only has 1 harvest, so it's not worth wasting your golden watering cans. So what golden watering cans do is it completely waters nearby eligible plants, including plants that have already been watered, and it consumes on the use. So you can only use these one time, but it completely waters it. So for some things you have to water multiple times. We're going to show you how to do this really quick, just to make it a little easier for you. So we're going to go ahead and plant some seeds right here. So what you do is you create a 3 by 3 block right here on top of wherever you want. You plant them here. You break the blocks under them, and then you plant right under them. You'll see why I'm going to do this in a second. Since these golden cans are expensive and rare, you want to get the most bang out of your buck. So this is one way to get the most bang out of your buck. And then we're gonna break one under here just so we can jump and make it a little easier. Alright, so now we're going to use our Instagrower. And the Instagrower is going to allow us to immediately water these plants. We're going to go ahead and use it. As you can see, they're already growing into their sprouts. As you can see, the Corn on the Cube is watering level 0 out of 4. So I'd have to wait 4 days and water them every day before it would grow. Same thing for the Cinnamon, but it's +3. But what we're going to do is use a golden watering can for this. So if you pay attention, it withers in 20 days. So if it takes me 4 days to water it, then I only have 16 days left, right? You don't want you want to get the most out of each seed. So why I recommend doing it to like the corner of the cube is because it takes a lot to get those seeds, and you want to get the most out of those seeds. So what you want to do is jump here in the middle, and you want to make sure that the bubbles are on all 18 plants. If you just do it like right here, it'll get the bottom of the plants, or if you just do it too high, it'll only get the top plants. So you need to kind of just push left or right on the D-pad, or push the golden watering can button, and make sure that the bubbles are on all of them. Make sure it works. So, as you can see, that was just the bottom. That was just the bottom again. So I'm trying to make sure that I get all of them. Oh, just the bottom again. Alright, I think I got it this time. So, as you can see, I used one can, and I was able to completely water all 18 plants. We got the cinnamon here, we got the corner of the cube, and now we can harvest it in 18 hours. So at reset, we can harvest it. And we can do this every day for another 19 days. So we'll get 19 harvests. So if you have something like this where, you know, we'll go ahead and harvest these. Right? Got two more to get right here, and then we got the one in the middle. And I'll show you how to get the one in the middle. We got all those, and now you're like, how do you get the one in the middle? That's what this block here is for. You jump up and you harvest the one in the middle, just like that. So I got to harvest it 18 times. And then if I use it again, another watering can, I'll be able to, as you can see, I need to wait 3 more days to water again and harvest. Or I can use another golden can. And make sure I got all of them, because it's hard to get it, but once you do get it, it's worth it. All right, so we're able to do that on all 18 again, and I can harvest it again in another 18 hours at reset. So that's a big pro tip on watering in the golden watering cans. All right, so now we're going to talk about best practices and some more pro tips. So there's many different badges that you can get from this update. One of the badges is the million compost badge, so you have to compost 1,000,000 items. So what I recommend doing is getting the eyes and composting eyes as much as you can. But if you recollect the eyes or recollect anything, it'll take away from the number on the badge. But if you get the badge, they can't take away the badge in the mastery from you. So if you have someone that has like 400, 500,000 items, that they trust you and everything, they can trade you that. You can compost it, get the badge for 1,000,000. Recollect it and then trade it back to them, and you'll get the badge that way. Very, very effective way of doing that. Also the 15K harvesting badge. So you need to harvest 15,000 plants. So in this, as I said earlier in the video, you want to harvest items such as these cubage patches. What I recommend doing is actually farming the cubage, because they're the easiest to create, they're the cheapest, and they last multiple days, and you're able, and they water quickly. So you don't have to waste your golden cans on them. So I recommend planting these and growing them. When you harvest plants, you have a chance of getting bobble pods. So we'll go down here and harvest some plants, and hopefully you can see where I get some bobble pods. So I'm on this mount, which is it's the 25K watering mount, but it does the same thing as the tractor. So I get on the mount, I harvest. So as you can see in the bottom right hand, I got a bobble plant pod seed. So that's how you're going to get bobble pods. What bobble pods are is they're kind of like, the mechanic works like the piñatas. So you and 7 other people can get the rewards from the bobble pod when they break. What I recommend doing is go into a shadow tower and invite other players to match your pods. So if I got 10 bobble pods and I used all 10 of them, and 7 other players had 10 of them, then my 10 bobble pods would now effectively be 80 bobble pods. What these bobble pods drop are, it randomly drops a mount, which is the bobble pod mount, but also a bunch of seeds, including corn on the cube, including the radiant seeds, such as these chaos stalkers. Let's see if I can find more radiant. I know I have some up here. And these radiant seeds, like I said, are how you're going to get that superior refuse. So what I recommend doing is farming the cubage, getting the bobble pods, effectively using those bobble pods with other players in the game, getting the rare seeds, planting the rare seeds, and then getting the superior refuse that way. So that's kind of the way around having to, instead of using cubage to make purples, to make tomatoes, to make cinnamon, to make corn on the cube, you can just farm cubage, get the bobble pods, throw the pods with someone else, and get corn on the cube seed drops just like that, which is a lot easier to do. So that's what I recommend for that. Very, very effective way to do it. Also, if you're farming the cubage, you're able to get the 15k harvesting and the 25k watering badge, and that's going to help you there too. So that's why I recommend farming that the most. So once you get the superior organic refuse from harvesting these, you're able to create the cookie musk, and that's how you're going to be able to get them out and help create the allies. Also, if you get rare recipes from the bobble pods, so if you don't have some of the recipes, that's where you get them. If you have any extra recipes, you can sacrifice those recipes in the compost heap, and you can also get those superior actual boxes, and you're able to open the boxes directly from there. So that's another way to get around all of the farming for radiant stuff as well, is using the bobble pods that way. So now we're going to talk about the Discord and how you get notified and everything like that. I'll have a link in the description for the Discord, but we're going to go straight into that. So I'm just going to bring it over to my desktop really quick. Kind of show you how it works. So once you join the Discord, you'll be here in this welcome screen. Make sure that you read, it'll welcome you, welcome to the Dapper community, make yourself at home, read the rules, and select your role in the roles. Make sure you please read the rules. As you can see here, you only have a certain amount of stuff in the Discord that you can see in the beginning. So let's go read the rules real quick. Select your role in the roles channel, clicking the appropriate reaction. I use this Discord for many games, so just click the role for the channels you want to see in the Discord. Example, clicking Skylanders in the reaction roles channel to see the Skylanders channels. Same thing for the Trovian. Read through these rules and please follow them so you don't get banned. So now we're going to go to roles. Since you guys are Trovians, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this Trovian role, so react with T to get the Trovian role. Since I reacted here, these popped up, right? So now you can see the Trove channels. And we're going to scroll down to here to ally habitats. So as you can see, these allies have spawned today. So we got Flower Bed Fairy and the Bacon Bits. We got Purple Glowfly and Rare Breed. We got the Drone and Demons of Valhalla. And we got another Glowfly and It's Up to You, Man. So this is going to be how you can get notified whenever some of these spawn. I'll be able to post it in here. If you find any, you'll be also able to post it in here. You can also use this Discord to show stats, what Luxion has. I also got, patch notes and other stuff in here that's very useful. But what you came here for is the ally habitats. Alright, so I know I talked about a lot of stuff. I went through everything you can go through as far as gardening goes. I tried to get through it as fast as I can. I know this video is going to be a little lengthy. But I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did like it, please make sure to leave a like in the description. And leave a like, and I'll also have a list of everything I talked about in the description. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys next time. See you then.